Well, this is much worse than Fallujah, for sure.
It's worse.
Partly because, yes, because of the density of civilians that are packed in there, and the Hamas unwillingness to let them or to continue using them as shields, because they can see that the objective given to the IDF by Prime Minister Netanyahu, it's guaranteed that they're going to continue using force against civilian targets. I'm sure that whatever Secretary Blinken was told, they were sincere, but the prime minister ultimately is responsible, and soldiers are responsible. Even if Hamas uses innocent people as shields, the burden of responsibility for protecting those civilians still falls, according to the law of armed conflict, on the, in this case, Israeli soldiers. So of course there should be enormous global pressure on Hamas to stop doing this, but I don't sense any of that is coming. And of course, this creates a massive, not only a massive political problem for our president, but frankly, worse, the Kremlin is the biggest beneficiary of all of this. I mean, Hamas accomplished in one day what Putin could not do in 2 years, and that was to make the West forget about Ukraine. And so, and the
Wow.
way this thing is such a mess, and it's so devastating for innocent people, and you've got people focused on Israel and not on helping Ukraine defeat Russia. So it's not just about resources being diverted, but it's about institutional and emotional energy that's being diverted.
Hmm.
Iran is Russia's closest and only real ally. Russia is Iran's closest and only real ally. This is not a coincidence that Hamas has attacked Israel right now when Russia needed it the most.
That's remarkable because it certainly turned our attention here in Washington as well, General. I don't have to tell you, I'm sure this is partly why lawmakers don't feel as motivated to fund the war in Ukraine. There seems to be a much greater appetite to help Israel, which I think you could argue needs the money less. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right in that. This is where the president has got to lay out to the Congress and to the American people why Ukraine matters to us, why our economy, our prosperity is tied to European security and stability and prosperity. Russia's attack on Ukraine has disrupted energy and food supplies. Inflation is driven in large part by what Russia is doing now. So this is about us, our interest, not just Ukraine. And of course, if Russia is not stopped in Ukraine, they've made it very clear they will continue. So you could end up with them going against a NATO country, and then you've got U.S. forces are going to have to be involved. And of course, the Chinese are watching to see, does the U.S., with all of our allies, do we have the political will, the industrial capacity, and the military capability to help Ukraine defeat Russia, help Israel defeat Hamas while still pushing Israel to accept a two-state solution, deter Iran from expanding or escalating this conflict, and then for China to see that we still have enough left over to deter them from making a terrible miscalculation. So we've got to get organized in the West. We've got all these allies, but we're not addressing these challenges as a whole, and I think that's what we've got to do.
General, more than 130 hostages are still being held by Hamas. Presumably, they are still alive. That, according to Israel. At what point do we see special forces begin extracting them, or do they simply not know where they are?
Excellent question. I'm sure that the Israeli Defense Force and Israeli intelligence have more information on what's out there and who's still alive and where they might be than we will know publicly. But it's still got to be very difficult. Hamas, and I mean, Hamas doesn't even control all of the bad guys in there. So um, it will be difficult to get 100% confidence that we know where everybody is and that we can get them out. And of course, if it was my daughter or a friend or somebody that was a hostage, I would be in total agony, wanting to do anything to get them out. But if you can step back from it and put yourself in the shoes of national leaders, hostages, even if you rescued every one of them, Hamas could go get more. So at some point, somebody is going to have to make a really, really hard decision about, do you continue with the attack? How much risk do you take to go in and try and extract hostages? I think the Israelis will do everything in their power to get every hostage, just like the United States would. But we have to find that balance, because terrorist organizations will stop at nothing to continue getting hostages when they see the incredible leverage that they get from having them.